Hello and welcome back to Palia. No actual gameplay today, but I did put together and put in order all of those records from the last 2 episodes. I figured it might come in handy for somebody somewhere along the lines, so I hope they do you some good, and I'll see you with the rest of the Elderwoods on Monday.
Record 1 from the desk of Aris. Ever since I discovered how to synthesize Cosmoflow, the money has been coming nonstop. Everything I ask for, I am granted. It's hard not to let this sort of power get to my head. The king himself came to visit the other day to test out the new Hydra potions. If something had gone wrong, and I was responsible for our king growing tentacles or a second head, instead, he said the taste was refreshing, and that he felt slightly more energetic than he had before. Then he patted me on the shoulder. I'm embarrassed to admit it, made me blush, but if this new power can lead to a better life for our people, I can handle a little discomfort. If they try to interview me for the paper again, though, I'm turning them down.
On the nature of Cosmoflow, lecture transcripts. Eris, there are a few things we need to know for sure about Cosmoflow, but in order to understand them, one must understand the nature of flow itself. I will attempt to explain here, but if any of you have questions, please visit my office afterwards for a more in-depth explanation. Now, can anyone explain what exactly pure flow is? Student A raises hand. Well, it's a form of energy, right? Natural energy that comes from the flow realm? Eris. That is correct. There are 2 known realms, ours, the material realm, and the realm of flow. You may think of these 2 realms as existing in either side of a coin. We exist on the side of mortals, and flow comes from the side of Embra. Natural flow enters our realm through well springs. This is what we refer to as pure flow, since it has not been affected or changed by the material world yet. Student B. What about elemental flow? Eris. Excellent question. As you all know, everything in our world contains small amounts of flow. As the energy integrates with the material world, it gains one of 4 elemental aspects: hydroflow, pyroflow, terraflow, and aeroflow. Until recently, we believed these to be the only possible fusions of flow. That is, until it was discovered that through the careful transmutation of all 4 elements, a 5th fusion could be formed. That is, Cosmoflow. When applied to other simpler forms of elemental flow, it catalyzes their effects to levels heretofore unseen. Student C. It was you who discovered Cosmoflow, wasn't it, Professor? Aris. Well, yes, but discoveries are rarely the result of sole geniuses. I had a team and funding. Student D. I heard you were invited to the royal palace to meet King Mungdun. Was he really as handsome as... Aris. I think that's enough questions for now. Cosmoflow applications. Day 6. Experiments on Cosmoflow's catalyzing properties. Continues a space. Terraflow seems the most resistant to extreme change, but Hydroflow accepts the application of Cosmoflow as easily as anything. When formulated into an ingestible hydro potion, the standard rejuvenating qualities appear to be multiplied. I've tried some of this new Cosmo drink myself, and was up half the night working on a new project before the effects wore off. There appears to be few side effects to consuming the concoction. It tastes vaguely of citrus, with a pleasant natural carbonation. Day 78. I think I may have discovered the key to immortality. An injection into the dermal layer of Cosmoflow, catalyzed Hydroflow, provides more lasting effects of elevated energy, increased concentration, and improved health. But applied in specific rune forms, it is hard to prove in such a short amount of time. But the aging of the subject appears to have stopped entirely. More research needs to be done before I bring this to anyone else, even the other scientists at the lab. I was only able to apply the runes to a small area of skin, and I have not given enough time to record any possible side effects. If everything goes to plan, I'll bring it to Mungdun soon. Perhaps the next time he stops by for tea. Day 879. The Minister of Flow visited our facility today. She asked to meet me privately. Apparently there are some tensions at the southern border, and she wanted to inquire about various practical applications of Cosmoflow. She wanted me to make weapons. I asked if General Sadil knew she was here, and she brushed the question off. Then she asked me about my mother, and whether she was still in the memory care facility. The implications were clear. We always knew this would come. Security clearance at the faculty has been extreme from the founding of it. I trust everyone here with my life, and my mother's. I told her we couldn't grind other projects to a stop for this. All of Valyria relies on the catalyst flow from our lab. Day 1024. Experiments on weaponizing Cosmoflow are proceeding as safely as they can without putting anyone at risk. Interestingly, Minister Veyra herself has volunteered to be a test subject, especially regarding our project on hydroflow serum. I declined as politely as I was able to. She is already covered in hydroform runes for immortality, and any more Cosmoflow in her body could prove disastrous. The serum itself is interesting. Instead of immortality, it imbues the subject with physical strength, speed, and analytical ability, but their emotional core and social skills suffer greatly in response. As for other substances, I have managed to resist proceeding with these experiments for the moment. Record number 5. Mirror Protocol. I wish these visits from important people that change the trajectory of my work would stop. It's been 2.5 centuries since this facility was founded, and yet the headaches refuse to abide. This time, it was Mudin. The man always has an air of somber gravitas about him in public, but we've been working together too long for that, which told me this was not a social call. The flow is running out. It's my fault. Mudin didn't say that. In fact, he was insistent on shouldering all the blame, but we both know it's the Cosmoflow. Creating it requires a vast amount of raw flow, and even more in the application. I don't know why it never occurred to me that flow could run out. Were we really consuming so much? Is there no way to reverse our course? That's why he came, to ask my help in finding an alternate power source. He told me he believes one exists, that there is a third plane, and we only need to access it. That Cosmoflow could be the key to ripping across the veil and opening the tap. He calls it the Mirror Protocol. He asked me to join him in reaching through the looking glass to the other side. I'm not sure why he bothered asking. Frankly, either we allow society to collapse, or we find another way to power it. I've done it once before, so it should be easy to do again. At least, that's what I'm told. I think I'll visit my mother tonight. It's been too long. Cosmos Protocol. I always thought I would know the day the world ended. It turns out it happens in inches, until salvation is too far to see the horizon anymore. One by one, my colleagues leave the lab. They all say the same thing. We should have never crossed the veil. It's not that I disagree. It's just that if I accept it, it's too late. I'll turn into one of them. The hope will seep from me, and nothing will be able to plug the leak. So I hold tight to the thought that there's still something we can do, and I keep looking. The world is still fighting. The Empire of Valyria holds strong. Galder and human repel the monsters everywhere, but they can barely touch the creatures from across the rift. So I'm working on a staff. It takes ambient flow and synthesizes it into Cosmoflow. I don't expect it to do much about the rifts, but perhaps it will be able to keep some of the creatures at bay. If we can fight back, we can still stop this. If it works, we'll make more. In honor of Mudin's love for ominously named projects, we're calling it the Cosmoflow Protocol. In order to keep random survivors from stumbling on this facility, it will be locked away. The other overseers have all agreed, and the security measures installed. Funny thing, they didn't even know I existed before Vera made the introductions. I only hope I can finish this research in time. At least the energy crisis has resolved. Goodbye for now. My mother used to tell me stories of the Phoenix, how she defeated the abyss and brought light to the world, that during the battle in the void she received a mortal wound and dragged the darkness with her. Her heart formed the sun, her eyes the moon, Her feathers became blades of grass, and through her blood ran the rivers of the world. Finally, from her soul came humanity. And through our fervent prayer and love, she was reborn again. Mother thought that, as her children, all of us were capable of the same rebirth, that even in our failures we could bring the light. Maybe we should have asked Mudin about it before he disappeared. He likely knew the truth. I failed. Humanity failed. We can't even lay claim to defeating the abyss this time. I'm afraid it will swallow us all. But if it doesn't, if there's still hope, in some distant future, if you are reading this and the sun still rises, people still laugh and cry and hurt and yell like they used to here, then maybe we do get another chance at this. I hope that my fervent prayer reaches you, and you are reborn. I hope the world is brighter where you are, and that if the darkness threatens you like it did us, you fight harder, love stronger, and never lose hope. You carry the flame of our people with you, and that will never go out. I'm going to take a walk. I hope the sunrise is still as breathtaking in your future as it always has been for us. The password for the faculty's administrative command is spread across these logs. Use it well, or don't use it at all. Eris.
Goodbye.